are the Western Slopes. Located in the southeast Bristol, this slice of nature is one of Bristol's green lungs and is much beloved by the nearby residents and important to the local wildlife. But these precious hills are in a battle for survival. Over the past year, proposals by both the City Council and private developers to build as many as 600 homes on these beautiful fields have been made. And it was only after mass protests from the local people and support from the Avon Wildlife Trust that the slopes were saved. But the battle is far from over. Leo went to the Western Slopes to find out more.
In 2021, Bristol City Council pledged to build over 33,000 homes over the next 15 years in a bid to address the city's housing crisis. The proposals for the Western Slopes are just two developments of many across the city as Bristol works to provide affordable housing for the city's growing population. But Bristol is in the midst of an ecological emergency. Songbird populations in the city have fallen by over 96%, and the City Council has, as part of their emergency strategy, committed to ensuring that over 30% of land in Bristol is managed for the benefit of wildlife, double the previous levels. In February this year, the Council's plans to build 360 homes on Bristol's Western Slopes were scaled down to just 70, after the slopes were recognised as a vital environmental site of critical importance for the local wildlife. Izzy Gordon is an environmental science and wildlife studies graduate from the University of West of England and a local resident. I met her on the slopes to find out just why this area is so important.
So plans to build on this area of land were scaled down for two main reasons. Firstly, this area of green space in Bristol has been identified by Avon Wildlife Trust as an essential wildlife corridor, which means it's really important for a lot of wildlife species who live in and around Bristol. Secondly, natural green spaces like the Western Slopes are quite hard to find in cities like Bristol, and therefore the residents who live here rely on it a lot for things like walking, exercise, and just for their mental health. Therefore, they came together and created this campaign to help reduce the amount of houses that were being built here.
What does it mean when somewhere is an essential corridor for wildlife?
So as development increases within an urban area, a lot of the natural wildlife habitats get broken up or fragmented as buildings and development happen on greenfield sites or roads are built straight through the middle of an original habitat. This makes it really hard for wildlife to move easily between different areas or to move through their original habitat. And this is why it's really important to leave areas of green space or to include wildlife-friendly habitats amongst development to provide a way for animals to navigate through an urban area and use these green spaces almost like stepping stones through the city.
Are there any particular species that these corridors are really essential for in Bristol?
So this is a really important corridor for a lot of small mammals such as voles, mice and rats, and the hedgerows here that are around the fields are important for a lot of our rarer bird species such as buzzards, falcons, and there's even a couple of nesting owls. It's also a vital space for a number of invertebrates, which really struggle in cities due to the amount of concrete and solid structures which prevent them moving about and creating homes, which is why wide, large spaces like the Western Slopes are really necessary for their survival in cities.
How big does a habitat have to be considered a wildlife corridor?
So a wildlife corridor can be as small as a single tree that's found on the side of the road, or as large as a field that incorporates a real mixture of different habitat types. The Western Slopes is a really good example of a larger corridor as it incorporates a real range of different habitats such as woodland, grassland and even a stream, which makes it really important to a wide variety of wildlife.
It's not easy to find natural spaces in cities where both people and wildlife can thrive. However, it's been shown to have major quality of life benefits. So I talked to some local residents to find out why spaces like these slopes are so beloved. So how important do you think it is to have natural spaces like this one in cities?
I think it's really, we were actually just saying, I've just come with my mum doing a dog walk, how lovely it is. We just walk out of the house, we're actually going to do a bit of shopping, take the dog for a walk. But it's really, really important to breathe and just get away from all the traffic and the concrete.
Oh, incredibly important. I come here all the year round and I see different people using it different times of day, even in the winter when there's lots and lots of snow. People make snowmen, and it's in the summer it's wonderful. No, it's important, and it's right in the middle of this area, so it's our lungs really.
And would you say, do you think that it's important to have spaces like this for wildlife as well as people?
Oh, I know it is. Yes, we've got a tremendous population of foxes. We have one of the biggest groups of urban foxes, and you see them running around all the time.
The Western Slopes are important both as a wildlife corridor and for the local residents. But it is just one of many wildlife corridors across Bristol, which connect up important ecological sites such as the Clifton Downs and the Avon Gorge. The Western Slopes were saved, and hopefully all of Bristol's precious natural spaces can be protected in the future.